Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
A clerk on Long Island got caught tearing up ballots, dumping them in the trash and helping Victor Pratt win by 81 votes. Her name is April Keyes. That happened in Hempstead, in America. And while that mess blew open, Democrats still fought photo ID, fought proof of citizenship, and fought limits on mail-in ballots. President Trump just boiled the whole scam down to one line. All voters must show photo ID, must provide proof of citizenship. Is that so hard? That question just cornered every fraud-friendly operator in Washington, and the people blocking him just told you everything. See, the fight's not about paperwork. It's about who owns the country. DHS put it in plain English. American elections belong to American citizens. That should really just end the argument. Instead, Hakeem Jeffries snapped that Trump and Republicans want to cheat by demanding the most basic protections any sane nation uses. Jelly Boy Pritzker threatened a court war because Trump's USPS moved to pressure states to clean up the voter rolls before flooding the system with mail ballots. Why the panic? Because loose ballots, bloated rolls, and citizenship ambiguity keep the Democrat machine humming right along. The Long Island scandal crushed the media lie that fraud talk lives in fantasy land. April Keyes got caught handling absentee ballots for Victor Pratt, tearing some up, trashing others, and the race swung by only 81 votes. 81. That is not theory. That is theft with a head count. And Mike Johnson laid out the next step if Democrats grab the midterms. He said they weaponize every committee. They hunt Trump's family, cabinet, donors, and supporters. Yes, you. So yes, this is the hill. And when a race flips on 81 ballots in Hempstead, I pay closer attention to what actually keeps a man sharp, strong, and hard to fool. See, I've tried hundreds of supplements and nothing touched C60 Evo. My brain fog gone, joint pain virtually eliminated, and my wife's skin, she looks 10 years younger, while my energy feels 20 years younger. See, C60 Evo is a Nobel Prize-winning molecule, not just another antioxidant. You see, it works at the cellular level. That's where aging actually happens. In the Paris study, it delivered the longest life extension in history, with lab animals living 90% longer. So to the haters out there, yes, I'm going to be around for a long time. See, the Houston lab has been making this since 1991. It's 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. It's worth more than gold per ounce. So grab exclusive savings at c60evo.com/NNN. Use code NNN at checkout. I take this stuff every single morning. Why? Because I need to stay strong for the fight ahead. And I want you to as well. Now here's the part the GOP establishment wants buried under process talk. President Trump didn't just torch Democrats. He called out Lisa Murkowski by name. Said she'll never win another election. Then Tom Tillis waddled out with the limp excuse that it's too late to get the Save America Act in place. Too late? Patriots pushed this months ago. And I'm going to show you the tweets. I'm going to show you it all. So keep one question in your head. Who's actually blocking secure elections? And why are they so desperate to run out the clock? Homeland Security posting this simple message: American elections belong to American citizens. Pass the Save America Act. That's the message from the Department of Homeland Security. Save our nation. It's a simple message. Americans' election belong to American citizens. Next, Trump takes that fight on stage and lays out the Save America demands.
Believe, right? Hard to believe that we even have to fight for this. We have to fight for everything. Nothing comes easy. Nothing. All voters must show photo ID. Not so bad, right? All voters must provide proof of citizenship. Is that so hard? And you're fighting the Democrats and a few Republicans who are doing a tremendous disservice to this country. We have a few Republicans that are fighting it. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. You should call her and tell her to get on the ball. She'll never win another election, I can tell you. She's got to vote. It's called the Save America Act. It's voter ID, ideally photo ID, right? So you can look and you can say, oh, that person's okay. Or, for lots of reasons, that person is not the same person. We want proof of citizenship. And we want no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, and military deployment or travel. We'll be very judicious.
So Trump didn't just call out the Democrats. No. He's putting weak Republicans on notice, too. Now Mike Johnson explains why the GOP sees the midterm fight as a full-scale war against Democrat investigations and retaliations. Listen.
We were to lose the midterms, heaven forbid. These Democrats, y'all, impeachment's not even the big concern. They will turn every committee of Congress into an investigative body, and they'll go after the president's family, the cabinet, his donors and friends. Half of you in this room will be targeted. I run the protection program. I'll take care of you, okay? We're going to win. We're going to win the midterm, okay? All right?
So he says Republicans have to win because Democrats will weaponize every committee. Next, Kevin McCarthy weighs in on Trump's pressure campaign, refusing to sign a housing bill unless the Save America bill moves. Remember Kevin McCarthy?
Brings you to the Capitol.
I came to see some friends, and John Legansky, a former staffer of mine, has a new book out.
What do you think of Trump canceling that signing for the housing bill to get the Save America bill passed? You think it's a good strategy?
He's going to try everything he can to make sure to get that bill through.
Do you support the bill?
Yes.
So McCarthy says Trump's trying everything he can to force it through. Then Hakeem Jeffries goes the other direction, accusing Trump and Republicans of wanting to win by cheating. Timu Obama.
Donald Trump and Republicans, who have been in complete control of government since January of 2025, have been a complete and total failure. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to lower costs on day one, but costs haven't gone down, costs have gone up in the United States of America. Life has become more expensive. Donald Trump and Republicans promised to love and cherish Medicaid, and then turned around and enacted the one big ugly bill, which included the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, ripping health care away from millions of Americans all across the country, including in rural America. Donald Trump and Republicans promised not to start wars in the Middle East, but to stop them, and then turned around and launched a reckless and costly war of choice, Operation Epic Failure, that has left the American people less secure, left Iran stronger than they were before the war, and has dramatically increased gas prices and food prices, who are already suffocating in the Trump Republican economy. Donald Trump and Republicans have failed the American people, which is why they've concluded that the only way that they can win in November is to cheat. And that's so inconsistent with who we are as Americans. But Donald Trump, of course, has shown openly his willingness to challenge the principle of free and fair elections here in the United States of America. He's continued to spread lies about the 2020 and 2024 presidential elections. He's continued to promote reckless conspiracy theories.
Of course, yeah. So Jeffrey is pushing the same old script: smear election securities, election cheating. Next, Anna Paulina Luna rips the argument apart and asks the obvious question: if Democrats really fear stolen elections, why oppose securing them?
Establishment Democrats are already accusing Trump of trying to steal the midterms. when we look at the polling nationally, it's on the same level as banning insider trading, which is also something that I'm trying to champion. But again, when you have one side that is not even listening to their own base, you have literally very well-known establishment Democrats that are saying that they don't want even voter ID. I mean, that's crazy talk. And it also is insulting as a minority to say that, oh, if you're a minority or if you're a woman, you can't figure this out. So I don't buy it. But look, I'm even willing to say voter ID and proof of citizenship. But you don't even want to hear not you, but they don't even want to entertain that either. And so this is part of the push and pull and pressure that exists in Washington. Yeah. We get it done. Maybe the process is a little bit messy, but I'm just being transparent about everything happening up here.
So she says people want voter ID and proof of citizenship. Meanwhile, the mail-in ballot fight gets hotter after a federal judge blocked Trump's order tied to ballot enforcement. The U.S. Postmaster General has been blocked from withholding mail-in ballots from blue states to enable voter fraud and let illegal aliens vote. The postmaster planned to enforce President Trump's executive order, but a leftist judge declared herself president and blocked it.
For the Save America Act, the president wants to rein in mail-in voting. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, actually, a big decision came out today. In fact, Shannon, a few hours ago, a federal judge blocked the president's executive order on that, declaring it unconstitutional. Yesterday, we saw the U.S. Postmaster General told the Senate he planned to hold back those absentee ballots from states that refused to comply and provide voter rolls or folks that were eligible to receive those absentee ballots. The administration is arguing that this would have curbed voter fraud ahead of the midterms. Democrats said that it was totally unacceptable. We did try to get a response from a White House official today. Haven't heard anything on this just yet. Shannon?
All right, Aisha Hasni at the White House. Thank you.
So even after a judge steps in the mail-in ballot still front and center next, Luna comes back with the bottom line. Any voter fraud is too much. The Senate has no excuse for stalling.
Especially election fraud that would change the outcome of a race. It's extremely rare. Yet Congress is at a standstill for this bill that just factually would make it harder for people to vote, people who have the right to vote. Why is this bill so important?
Well, hey, Jake, thank you so much for having me on. And according to CNN's own polling, this is overwhelmingly supported, proof of citizenship plus voter ID, by the American people. Black, white, Hispanic, Democrat, Republican, Independent, female, and male all support it. And what I will tell you is President Trump is correct. And look, even if it's only 100 cases, it's still 100 cases too many. If you're talking about wanting people to fully engage and trust their election process and get rid of this whole idea and notion that people can't trust their vote, which I think is incredibly important to the American people, we have to get this done. What's even more crazy, though, Jake, is that we've passed this multiple times out of the House. The Senate says that they don't have time to debate one of the most popular issues in the country, and yet they've had time to go on vacation. They've had time to literally host dog shows, and they've had time to put into legislation that we've had to vote on in the House that would give them guaranteed wins for lawsuits, not to mention they've been shilling for Monsanto. So no, I'm not inclined to be bullied by the Senate, but what I am inclined to do is stand up for residents in Pinellas County and other people across the country that wants to see this done. And so I actually last week just filed an amendment to support this by attaching it to the National Defense Authorization Act that is currently sitting in the Rules Committee, and we will see what happens.
So she says even one fraudulent vote's too many. Then we get a real-world example out of Long Island where a clerk is accused of tearing up ballots and dumping them in the trash. Election fraud exposed. Clerk tore up ballots for Victor Pratt. Hempstead Union Free School District clerk named April Keyes caught smuggling official ballots out of her office, handing absentee ballots to favored candidate Victor Pratt, tearing them up and dumping them in the trash, helping him win the May 19th trustee election by 81 votes. So that's the kind of case the media always says doesn't matter until ballots end up in the garbage. Next, Trump highlights Tina Peters, who says she was punished for exposing the vote flipping machine vulnerabilities. Trump Daily posts, big news. Trump posts video of recently released political prisoner Tina Peters, who declared Democrats are going to cheat again. No one's addressing the vote flipping election machine vulnerabilities that she exposed. Peters said that she served prison time as retribution for revealing systems that allowed votes to be flipped. Trump's post says Tina Peters' release from jail tells Steve Bannon on her MAGA tour that Democrats cheat elections and jailed her as retribution.
That the Democrats are going to cheat. and no one's really addressing the problem that I spent my time in prison as retribution for, and that was exposing the election machines that allow the votes to be flipped.
So from discarded ballots to machine warnings, the pattern's the same. The system gets defended and the whistleblowers get crushed. Next, Congresswoman Mary Miller warns that Republicans don't secure elections now, the country will be headed for one-party rule. She drops some truth bombs. I'm afraid if we don't secure our elections, we'll end up with one-party rule. Thune and Senate Republicans take notes. Your traditions and norms will get absolutely ripped apart if we don't fix this now. No more half measures, no more excuses. Secure the vote or watch the country slide into permanent leftist control. Grow a spine. So Miller's warning is blunt. Fix election security or hand the left permanent control. Next, Senator John Kennedy makes clear he's all in on the SAVE Act and says he'll do whatever it takes to get it passed.
I would like to talk for a few minutes about the SAVE Act. I'm a co-sponsor. I support it unconditionally. The SAVE Act, as you well know, Mr. President, is really pretty simple. It's about our sanctity of voting in America. It says if you want to register to vote in America, you have to prove that you're a citizen of America. And once you're registered, it says when you're voting in a federal election, in all instances, you have to prove you are who you say you are in order to vote. Very simple. Now, there are other provisions that may or may not be added by amendment, but those are the guts of the SAVE Act.
So Kennedy says the bill is simple. Prove your citizenship and prove you are who you say you are, but the pressure shifts to Senate leadership. Nancy Mace asking the question. Plenty of conservatives are already asking about John Thune. Who's paying him off? Asking for a friend. Another Long Island report shows exactly why this fight matters. School clerk allegedly helping a preferred candidate, Tony Lane. School clerk in Long Island got caught physically tearing up ballots, throwing them in the dumpster to help her favorite candidate win. The candidate was helping Victor Pratt, won by 81 votes, racking up 87% of absentee ballots while only getting 27% of in-person machine votes. New York State has now ordered a brand new election. This is why people don't trust the mail-in absentee ballot system. When someone with access to those ballots decides to play hero with an election, every legitimate vote gets stolen. So the Long Island mess is what shatters trust. Meanwhile, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is vowing to sue Trump over efforts to force states to clean up the voter roll data.
We'll see them in court. Thank goodness that we have leadership in the state of Illinois that believes that we need to be protecting people's voting rights, which is not something that the federal administration today is doing. We're going to fight like hell to protect your right to vote.
So he says he'll fight like hell. Next, Tom Tillis gives the familiar rhino excuse, claiming it's too late, saying it's about the math.
What's your objection with the Save America Act?
It's quite simple. It's a math problem. We simply don't have the votes, and the Save America Act will not be implemented in time for this election. Anybody that knows anything about election law understands that, and the reason I do is I passed voter ID when I was Speaker of the House. And if anybody thinks that you're going to implement something as expansive as the SAVE Act in 2 months, see, everybody's talking about November, right? Okay, that's 5 months away. But people will be doing some early voting. People will have to deal with registrations. Does any rational person who's ever had any experience with implementing election law really think that it's possible to have all that in place in time for this election and not be disruptive? And incidentally, it's an unfunded mandate that has $0 for implementation. So I would ask anybody who actually understands how to pass laws, implement them, and have them in place at the level that they need to be to ensure the integrity of elections, how absurd is it to think that could be done by November?
The Save America Act. Everybody wants it. Everybody is it, including Democrats. 87% of Democrats want it. Not the leaders, because they want to cheat. Their policy is so bad, they're unelectable.
So Tilla says there's no time, even though grassroots conservatives are demanding action. Then Ohio's Mike DeWine piles on with another surrender move, vetoing a bill that would require photo ID for voting by mail. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine facing mass outrage nationwide for vetoing legislation. How can a Republican governor oppose this?
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has vetoed a controversial bill that would have required voters to provide photo ID when casting an absentee ballot. Governor DeWine says the bill would have created an additional burden for Ohioans and that it doesn't add any safety measures. In a statement, DeWine said in part, requiring a photo ID for mail-in ballots, quote, does not provide election officials with any opportunity to verify if the ID picture matches the face of the voter and thereby serves as no additional verification of the voter's true identity, end quote.
So DeWine calls photo ID a burden, which tells you everything about the establishment mindset. Finally, the White House closes with Trump's full Save America checklist: photo ID, proof of citizenship, and strict limits. All voters must show photo ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. No men and women's sports. No transgender mutilation surgery on our children. Save America. So the moral verdict here lands right on April Keyes, not in an abstract white paper, not in a cable news lecture, in a trash can. April Keyes got caught tearing up ballots in Hempstead, while Victor Pratt piled up 87% of absentee ballots and only 27% of in-person machine votes, and then won by 81 votes. That one set of numbers blows a hole straight through every smug lecture about how mail ballots abuse never happens. See, it matters to every lawful voter because whose ballot got canceled by a clerk with an agenda. When Hakeem Jeffries calls voter ID cheating, after that, he's not defending democracy, he's defending ambiguity, because ambiguity is the oxygen of the machine. See, President Trump is doing exactly what a real leader does. He picked a fight everybody else ducked, and he forced the country to choose: citizen elections or Democrat election chaos? Photo ID or identity theater? Proof of citizenship or amnesty-fed fraud pressure? Clean rolls or endless loopholes? Kevin McCarthy had the right instinct when he backed Trump's hardball on the housing bill. No business as usual, not an inch. Lisa Murkowski, Tom Tillis, Mike DeWine, John Thune. Stop hiding behind excuses and timing and soft hands. John Kennedy said he'd stand on one leg and bark like a dog to pass the bill. Good. More of that. Less surrender. If April Keyes tearing up ballots in a race decided by 81 votes does not move Congress, then the rot sits inside Congress too. So share this segment. Hit the comments with the name of the Republican you want pressured most, and keep the heat on until the Save America Act hits the president's desk. I want to make sure the notifications hit your phone. That's why I set up this telephone number, and thousands of patriots are already getting the inside information direct from the Next News Network, direct from me. All that they had to do was text raw feed to 844-840-4963. I'm not sure what you're waiting for. YouTube's not going to send you the notifications, but I will. So make sure you hit that number. And make sure you hit the merch shelf below this video, or go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.